Namah Shivaya.
Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Garvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
So we had completed the 5th mantra of the 2nd chapter, 2nd section. And what we were dealing with? We were dealing with the example of the bow and the arrow. So now we go to mantra number 6 and we will chant that. Ara eva ratana bhau samhata yatra nadayaha.
Ara
Sa eshontarashcharate bahuda jayamanaha. Om ityevam dhyayata atmanam. Swastivav paraya tamasah parastat. So Shruti is talking about where the mind resides, right? So we saw in Tattva-bodha that the residence place for an organ, what is it called?
Golaka.
Golaka, right? So we must remember these words. And that's why I keep using every opportunity to bring back Tattva-bodha. So Golakam is the stop, the room or the residence for any organ. And Shastra is saying that, and this Shastra says not only here, it says that in all the Upanishads also, that the heart is the Golakam for the mind. So he says, Yatra Nadayaha Samhataha. Samhata is the convergence. Yatra Nadayaha, where the nadis converge. Okay. So medically also, the heart is the hub, you can call it, through which all the blood flows, right? The impure blood comes back into the heart and goes out after purification, right? So the heart is the hub through which all the blood flows, and therefore if the heart is not functioning, the person dies, the Sukshma Shariram leaves the body. Therefore the heart can be taken as the center of all activity. And therefore Shastra is saying that the mind, subtle body, when it is at rest, it is located in the heart. And conversely, when the mind is functioning, remember, mind is not in the brain only. Mind is pervading all over the physical body, because we are using the word mind here as subtle body. And therefore, subtle body pervades all over the physical body. When we sleep, the mind goes to its residence, that is the heart. And okay, this is only said for the purpose of, understanding, for figuring out that there is a location somewhere for the heart, right? Subtle body doesn't really require a location. It can pervade the entire physical body. So this is only for understanding purposes. And therefore he gives an example. Ara eva ratana bhav. So ara eva rataha nabihi. That's the breakup. Ara eva rataha nabihi. So ara, this box, rataha nabhi eva. Nabhi is the hub. In the chariot wheel, the central hub is called the nabihi. And what happens to the Nabi? All the spokes meet. So Ara eva Ratanaha Nabihi. He's talking about how all the nadis are meeting in the heart. The example given is the wheel of a chariot. So the heart is being compared to the Nabihi, the hub, the center, and all the nadis are compared to the spokes. And therefore, what is available in the heart? The consciousness principle is available in the heart. Chaitanyam, the Atma, is available in the heart. Again, remember, the word available doesn't mean resident or found in or only found in. You can take it as also found in, right? Or more importantly, you can take it as recognizable. The Atma is there all over the body, but when you say Atma resides in the heart, you are saying that the mind resides in the heart, and therefore the awareness of the Atma, the consciousness principle, is available only in the mind, which resides in the heart. So at the time of death, what happens? Shastra says all the nadis leave along with the mind. All the mind leaves, sorry, Sukshma Shariram leaves through the nadis. Through the nadis alone, the Sukshma Shariram leaves and goes to the top of the head and leaves and then goes to the appropriate loka. So Hridayam is the center of the nadi network, just like the hub is the center of the spoke network. The question will come up, what is a nadi, right? Now the normal view is that, which is the Yoga Shastra view, is that nadis are subtle pathways located in Sukshma Sharira, right? But there are very respected commentators like Anandagiri, a very respected commentator of Vedanta. He says nadis refer to Sthula Shariram alone. And therefore, Anandagiri is saying that the word nadi has to be taken as the pathways in the Sthula Shariram, which is what? Nerves only, right? So there are differing views. The general view of Yoga Shastra is that nadis are in subtle body. But Anandagiri, who is again very respected, says that nadi means the physical nerves in the body. So anyway, the point is that there is no consensus on this. So we can take it whichever way we want. Preferably, you can say Sukshma Shariram. So when the physical body dies, Shastra says, when the physical body dies, the Jivatma, which is the Sukshma Shariram plus the Karana Shariram, it withdraws from all the parts of the body and then withdraws where? Withdraws into its resistance, into its residence, right? The heart. And then from the heart, there are all these nadis. That is what Shastra is also talking about here. All the nadis are meeting in the heart. So from the heart, having withdrawn from the entire body, the Sukshma Shariram goes back into its residence, which is the heart, and then leaves traveling by all the nadis. Depending upon the lokas, they travel by different nadis, but the general meaning we take it's traveling by Sushumna Nadi, goes to the Brahmandra on top of the head, and then leaves. And therefore, really speaking, there is no clarity, no firm view on whether Nadi is physical nerves or astral pathways. So best to leave it as Nadi itself. Okay. In any case, our job is not to focus on the pathway. Our job as a student of Vedanta is what? To turn our attention to the Sukshma Shariram, to the thoughts in the mind, and then ask ourselves, who is aware of these thoughts, right? And when you ask yourself, who is the entity who is aware of the thoughts in my mind, you are going to be turning your attention where? To the consciousness principle, to the Chaitanyam alone. And that's what he says here. So he says, Saha Eshaha Antaha Charate. So Esho Antas Charate has to be broken up into Saha Eshaha Antaha Charate. So Eshaha, that Jivatma, Antaha Saha antaha charate. That jivatma is very much inside you. Antaha. And charate is moving. That jivatma, we can call it that paramatma, is very much present inside you as the jivatma. So, sa esaha antaha charate. That paramatma who is really you is present inside you, and it seems to be moving about charate inside you as what? As the conscious jivatma. Now, charate means what? We all know that Atma is all pervading. How can it move? The charate has to be explained. How can the Atma move? So, if you take the example of the mirror and the sunlight, can you explain the word charate over here? We need to think, right? This whole thing is about being able to think in the right direction.
Acharya, I think the sunlight is there always, but only when the mirror is there, it's reflected through it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about charate, movement. You're on the right track, but
So,
you need to explain more.
Om Acharya, the sunlight doesn't move. It is only the mirror which can move.
And therefore, you reached up to the tip.
The sunlight appears to move
yeah, because
it's a reflection in the mirror.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't say sunlight, we'll say sun. Okay.
Mm.
The sun
Wherever
appears to
the-
move as the mirror moves. And
Yes.
therefore, what is he saying here? This jivatma, saha eshaha antaha charate. That paramatma is appearing inside you as the jivatma. And that jivatma means what? RC. What is the RC reflected in? What is the RM for the RC over here in your mind?
the thoughts.
The thoughts.
vrittis.
The vrittis are thoughts. And thoughts, are they moving or not moving?
Yes.
Are continuously moving,
Yes.
right? And therefore,
Yes, they are
because
always
of the movement of the thoughts, that Paramatma, he says, charate. That Paramatma seems to be moving, not because Paramatma can move, but because of the movement of the thoughts, the RC moves. So again, you're back to Tattva. RC has movement because thoughts have movement, right? And therefore only Bahuda Jayamanaha, appearing and disappearing in various forms. So Bahuda Jayamanaha means comes and goes in many, many different forms. Okay. So why do you say come and go? Because when the mind is awake, when the mind is active, you have many thoughts. And every thought is a particular form. Therefore, that Paramatma seems to take on the form of all these thoughts. So appears. And when you go into Sushupti Avastha, the mind is resolved. And therefore, it looks like that Paramatma, that consciousness has disappeared. Right? So it is this RC, this is Jivatma, which seems to be moving. And that Jivatma is born Bahuda Jayamana in various forms: anger, jealousy, happiness, sorrow, temper, seeing, and it does jobs. It sees, it hears, it thinks. Right? So when the thought is born, that Paramatma is capable of being observed as the reflection in that thought. When the thought is gone, that Paramatma is not capable of being observed, and therefore it seems to have gone away. And therefore, Bahuda Jayamanaha comes and goes. Because of all these changing thoughts, Jayamanaha, coming and going, Charate, that Atma is said to be moving around. Then what should I do? So he's saying, you have to first focus on the mind. In the mind, you have the thoughts. You focus on the moving thoughts, you appreciate the teaching of Shruti that those moving thoughts are basically the reflecting media, and in those thoughts you have the reflected consciousness, which is not OC, it is RC only. And therefore, what should I do? Therefore, I have to turn my attention from the changing RC to the non-changing OC. And therefore, he prescribed meditation. Om ityevam. So, Om iti evam dhyayataha atmanam. So, dhyayataha, meditate, concentrate, focus your attention, right? And for doing this Upanishad says, it's very difficult to focus on the changeless entity because it is in the midst of all changing entities, right? So you have thoughts which are coming and going. You have the RC which is coming and going. In and through that RC, which is moving, you have to look at the OC, which is the very substratum. So changing thoughts are there, but the support, the adhishthanam of the changing thought is what? The changeless consciousness principle. Therefore, turn your attention to that consciousness principle. And it's difficult to turn away from what is changing and try to focus on what is changeless. And therefore, say the Mundaka Upanishad says, use the mantra for support. So, Om iti eva. Iti, Shankara says here, has a very special significance. Only. Iti means only in this manner. Om iti eva means meditate upon Om as Brahman only in this manner. What does it mean to meditate upon Om as Brahman? So Shankara gives a little explanation. He says, Om, Omkaraha, Alambanaha Santaha. Santaha means make it. Alambana is you know what it is, right? It is the symbol on which you can invoke. So Omkaraha, it becomes a symbol for you on which you can invoke Brahman. Right. So the Om mantra, Shastra says, has many special qualities. And one of the qualities associated with Omkara is that it generates the Vairagya Vritti, a constant repetition of Omkara. It increases the level of Vairagya. And that's why when a person takes sannyasa, the mantra given is, the primary mantra for a sannyasi is what? Omkara. He is not given a Saguna mantra. He is given the Nirguna mantra, Omkara, because sannyasi requires a lot of Vairagyam. Why does he require Vairagyam? Because he is renouncing so many things, family, relatives, objects, bank balances. He should not feel he should not miss any of them. And therefore, a lot of Vairagyam, a lot of detachment is required. Therefore, the primary mantra for a sannyasi is Omkara. And the flip side is, if you are a householder, you have a wife, you need children, you need some amount of time to spend with them. So for a grahastha, too much Vairagyam can be a problem. So Shastra also says that for a grahastha, don't use Omkara alone. Dilute the Omkara with a Saguna name. So Om Namah Shivaya or Om Namo Narayanaya. So the Saguna name, the name of the deity will slightly reduce the effect of the Omkara in producing, dispassion. Too much dispassion is not good for a grahastha. The Shastra says, of course, when you enter Vanaprastha, your status is almost the same as that of a sannyasi. So there the idea will be different. Okay. Now, once you chant Omkara, all other thoughts will be kept away, right? Because it's generating Vairagyam. And then you can focus on the consciousness principle. And therefore, there are two steps in the chanting of the Omkara. You chant the Omkara, Om. The Omkara thought is very much present there, right? Then before the next Omkara begins, there is a silence. You have to claim that silence as you, the consciousness principle. Remember that any thought is you, that silence. Any object is you, that silence, plus the object thought. So in the chanting of the Omkara, when you're chanting Om, there is the silence present, there is a consciousness present, plus there is the Omkara vritti, the Omkara thought present. That is why you are chanting Om. But when the Om is over and the silence falls, the Omkara thought has gone away. When the next Omkara thought starts, you will begin to chant Om again. So in the middle, there is a silence. So thought is superimposed upon the silence. When the thought is not there, the thought goes away, only the silence remains. That silence is you, the consciousness principle, that you have to claim as yourself. And when you claim as yourself, we should bring back the 5 principles that we know. I am of the nature of this eternal, all-pervading consciousness. Right? This claiming the consciousness claiming yourself as the consciousness consists of reminding myself of these ideas. I am the nature of eternal, all-pervading consciousness, number 1. I, that all-pervading consciousness, am the only source of permanent peace and security and happiness. By my mere presence, I, the consciousness, I, the Atma, I lend life not only to this body, but also to the entire world. Then, though I lend consciousness to the world, and I'm intimately associated with the world, I, the Atma, or I, Brahman, am not affected by any event in the world or even in this material body. And the consolidation of all this is, as long as I remember this real nature of mine, for me, life is a lila. Life is an entertainment. The moment I forget this real nature, when I forget my real nature, what am I doing? I'm identifying with whatever role I have. Father, mother, brother, sister, student, teacher. The moment you identify yourself with a role, you turn life into a burden. So these ideas I should always remember whenever I stop to claim myself as that consciousness principle. This is the Omkara meditation, which is Vedantic Nididhyasana. Now remember that with this, the third line, what has happened? The teacher has given the instructions for Nididhyasana. So what is presumed here? Shravanam is over, Maranam is over. And of course, before Shravanam itself, Karma Yoga is over, Upasana Yoga is over. Your mind has got the necessary Chitta Shuddhi, and therefore you have come to Shravanam. Shravanam is completed, Maranam is completed. Instructions for Nididhyasanam have been completed. And therefore, with this third line of the mantra, the teacher's role has ended. Right? In Shravanam, Guru plays an active role. Shishya is passive. After Shravanam, whatever happens, Guru has a subsidiary role, because in Mananam, student can come and ask the Guru if he has any doubts. So their Guru has a role, but the active role is that of the Shishya in Mananam. Guru plays the role only when doubts are there. But in Nididhyasanam, the Guru has no role at all. Shishya alone is there. Shishya alone has to do the work. And therefore here Guru says, Swastivav parayaha tamasa parasta. That is the last line. Swastivaha. He is giving his blessings. May your Nididhyasanam journey be pleasant. be without obstacles. And where should you reach? Parayaha. Parayaha is the other shore. Reach the other shore of samsara. Samsara is an ocean, right? When you cross the ocean of samsara, you reach Brahman. So other shore is taken as Brahman. Swastivav Parayaha. May you reach Brahman through Nididhyasanam, which may be without obstacles. And where is that other shore? Where is that Brahman? Tamasa Parastat. Beyond tamas, beyond darkness. That is the shore. May you transcend that. May you get moksha. So this is the blessing of the Guru, where he has said, my job is over. And now it is your job to do what? Nididhyasana. With this mantra is over. Now we look at the next mantra. Very, very important mantra. Let us chant. So please unmute yourself and we can chant. Yes, Sarvagnya Sarvavid.
Yes,
Sarvagnya Sarvavid.
Yes, Yaisha Mahima Bhuvi.
Yes,
Yasyesha Mahima Bhuvi.
Divye Brahma Pureheshaha.
Divye
Brahma
Brahma
Pureshah.
Vyoman Yatma Pratishtitaha.
Yomanyatma
Pratishtataha.
Okay. So, now in the following mantras, there is a comparison being made. Shruti is comparing the body to a temple and the heart to the sanctum of the temple, which I think we call Garbhagraham, where the actual deity is installed. So there is a temple and there is a Garbhagraham, the internal sanctum, where the actual deity is involved. So that is being compared over here. And so it starts with by saying Yaha Sarvagnyaha Sarvavit. Okay. Now Sarvagnyaha and Sarvavita both have a common meaning, which is what? All-knowing. Now all-knowing means what? Some sort of knowledge is there. The moment knowledge is there, what comes to mind? Lack of knowledge, ignorance, avidya comes to mind. So why do they use two words, Sarvagnya and Sarvaveda, both meaning the same? Because avidya is of two types. Shastra says avidya, ignorance, is of two types, and they are called Mula Vidya and Tula Vidya. So Mula Vidya you must have heard, Mula Avidya, right? And Mula Vidya means absolute. Mulam means absolute, the rooted. So Mula Avidya is basic avidya, absolute avidya. And Tula Avidya is Tula Avidya. Tulam is what? What is a Tula? In Hindi we call it Tolna.
Balance.
comparison.
It's a balance. So when you are saying Tula, you're talking about comparative or relative, right? So Mula Avidya is absolute avidya. Tula Avidya is comparative avidya. What are the two types? You can understand, right? Mula Avidya is avidya regarding the most important fact in the universe. What is that?
Aham Brahmasmi.
That you are Brahman. So Mula Vidya, a person who has Mula Vidya doesn't know that he is Brahman. Tula Vidya is, comparative ignorance, like ignorance of how to make a computer, ignorance of how to repair a car, ignorance about the material sciences. That is Tula Vidya. And therefore two words are used. Sarvagnya means one who knows that he is Brahman, and therefore he also knows that everything is Brahman. Sarvagnya, the knowledge that Brahman is Sarvam, Brahman is all, including me, including others. That is Sarvagnya. And Sarvavit is somebody who knows everything about everything. Okay. So you can call him to repair your tap, you can call him to repair your computer, you can call him to repair your TV, You can call him to repair your body. Sarvagnya is somebody, Sarvavit is somebody who knows everything. Now, is there anybody who knows everything about everything?
Only Bhagwan.
Only Ishvara, right? And therefore, the two words are used very carefully. A jnani can be a sarvagnya because he has the knowledge. In fact, a jnani is a sarvagnya because he has the knowledge that everything is Brahman. But this sarvagnya, you can't call him to write your software program, right? You can't come call the jnani and say, my laptop has crashed. Will you please repair it? I mean, you can if he's a software engineer or a hardware engineer, but he may not know. So definitely he will not know everything. And therefore, a sarvagnya cannot be called a sarvavit. The term sarvavit is from the viewpoint of aparavidya. This is material sciences or knowledge about everything. The term sarvagnya is from the point of view of paravidya. Sarvagnya means everything is Brahman, he knows. Sarvavit means everything in this universe he knows, which is only Brahman, right? So for each branch of knowledge, for example, if you are a hardware engineer, laptop engineer, you should know everything about the laptop. So you can be that laptop with, right? With means the Sanskrit with, not the English with, which means you know everything about the laptop. But if you have to know everything about everything, you can only be Ishvara because he is a composite of all the minds and therefore he will be Sarvavit. He knows everything. So Jnani, remember here, the idea being conveyed is Jnani does not have Mula Vidya, but Jnani will continue to have Tula Vidya. Okay. That is why you cannot say that Jnani is equal to Ishvara. Ishvara has neither Mula Vidya nor Tula Vidya. As a Jnani, you can have, you can not have Mula Vidya, but as a Jnani, you will definitely have Tula Vidya. Therefore, you cannot say that Jnani is equal to Ishvara, at least in the Vachyartha aspect, right? In Lakshyartha, the implied meaning, yes, Jnani is equal to Ishvara. But in Vachyartha, dictionary meaning, Jnani can never be equated to Ishvara. Why is this important for us? Because when you are on the spiritual line, and before coming to Vedanta, what happens is you, I don't know when it happened to anybody else, but definitely happened to me. You go around and, go to some guru, another guru, a third guru. And many of these gurus, what happens is their Shishyas say that guru is Ishvara, right? Vachyartha wise, not Lakshyartha wise. And therefore they attribute, they say that my guru has supernatural powers. My guru can absorb the papa karma that you have. Therefore you go and prostrate to him and all your papa he will remove, right? And he can enter different bodies. That also they say. And I have heard some people say that their gurus are capable of traveling to, Brahma Loka, and then they have a cup of tea with Lord Brahmaji and then they come back. In fact, I've actually heard it happening where this Guruji was late for a meeting and then he said, I'm sorry, I had to go to Brahma Loka and, took some time over there. So this kind of ideas has to be dispelled by this because why? Because the equation of Jnani is equal to Ishvara holds good only in Lakshyartha. Jnani continues to have Tula Vidya. He will not have Mula Vidya, but he continues to have Tula Vidya. So there is a difference between Jnani and Ishvara. Then how do you say? In fact, Shastra says very many places, Shastra says Jnani is equal to Ishvara. In Bhagavad Gita itself, in the 4th chapter, that it was there. Do you remember? Where Krishna said that Jnani is equivalent to the Ishvara. Which was the shloka? Anybody? He starts with Chaturvida Bhajante Mam. And then he says that Jnani is the same as me. So that such statements are there everywhere. And in Upanishad also, you will find such statements. So what is the reconciliation for that? The differences between Ishvara and Jnani are on account of what? What is the difference between Ishvara and Jnani?
Upadhi.
The
Tula
Upadhi.
Vidya.
Upadhi, right? Now, Upadhi is Satyam or Mithya?
Upadhi is
Mithya.
Upadhi is Mithya. If Upadhi is Mithya, what is born out of Upadhi? Is that Satyam or Mithya?
Mithya.
It is Mithya. And therefore, the difference born out of the Upadhis, the difference between Jnani and Ishvara, is the difference born out of the Mithya Upadhi. The difference is also Mithya. And because what is Mithya is as good as not being there, Shastra says that Jnani and Ishvara are the same. So this argument, you have to drive it into your head, because that is the only way that a lot of things will become clear in Shastric study. Okay, then he says, Yasya Mahima Bhuvi. Yasya Eshaha Mahima Bhuvi. Bhuvi is Prithvi, earth. Mahima is glories. So Esha Mahima, all his Mahima is what? Everything that you experience on this earth, every wonder that you experience on this earth, every great thing which you experience on this earth is nothing but the glory of Ishvara. And what kind of things? So Krishna doesn't say, Shankara adds in his Bhashyam. So what is this Mahima? So Shankara says that I won't give you the Sanskrit portion, I don't want to confuse you. Shankara says that the sky and the Prithvi and the earth, they are kept separated by what? By Ishvara only. They don't collapse into each other. The reason why the sky and the earth remain in their respective places, that is because of Ishvara only, and that is his glory. And then he says, because of which the sun and the moon, they continuously move in their circles only, in their orbits only. And you can add over here, all the planets move only in their orbits and therefore don't go and collide with each other. All this is what? It is part of the order of Ishvara. That order is the glory of Ishvara. And he adds, it is the reason why the river does not cross its boundary and why the ocean does not cross its boundary. All these are reasons. And of course, is the reason why all the immovable objects in creation remain as immovable and movable beings remain as movable. So he is saying, just imagine if the mountain started to walk, what will happen? And therefore, that the reason why the mountain remains the mountain and does not start to walk and talk to you is because of this order of Ishvara. That order is its glory. And he adds also, because of which the order of the seasons, the regularity of the seasons is maintained, because of which the movement of the sun and the moon are maintained. These are all the glory of Ishvara. He talks about Dakshinayam and Uttarayanam, the southward and the northward movement of the sun. They are all belonging to the glory of Ishvara also. And he says the reason why the Karta, Karma, and it's a very, very nice reason. He says the reason why Karta, Karma, and Karma Phalam do not violate the boundary of time. The Swam Swam Kalam Nati Vartante. Do not violate the boundary of time. What does it mean? That, for example, karma, some karmas are, they give their fruit instantaneously. Some karmas take time. For example, sowing crops. Some seeds will fructify very soon. Some seeds, for example, a mango tree, will take years. And these rules are never violated. Sa esha mahima. All these, the orderliness of this universe, the very fact that there are so many thousands of rules, which is the reason why there is life on in this universe. Because, for example, let us say that our planet, Earth, supposing it was, let us say, a few thousand kilometers closer to the sun, what will happen to all of us? You will be burnt to death. Supposing it was a few thousand kilometers away from the sun, what will happen? You will be all frozen to death. Supposing it moved faster than it's moving now, you will all fly off, right? So the thousands of rules of the universe, because of which life is maintained, all that is Sa Esha Mahimaha, the glory of Ishvara only. Okay. Then, that is the first line. Then he says, then where is the Ishvara to be found? So, Divya Brahma Pure Yesha Vyoman Atma Pratishtitaha. Right? So, Brahmapure. Brahmapure is Brahmapuram, the city of Brahman. And Divyam, because it is sacred. Divyam means anything Divyam is related to the gods, so sacred. Divya Brahmapure, in that sacred Brahma city, Brahmapuram, is installed. Pratishtitaha is installed. Okay. So another meaning is, it can be taken as bright, because the RC, which is the light of consciousness, is reflected by the Vijnanamaya Kosha, right? And the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the Buddhi. Atma is found in the sacred space, which is the Buddhi. It is sacred, Divya, because Atma is there. Okay. Again, I will repeat this. I'm going to keep on repeating this, because the word location, found there, all this can make us think that Atma is got a particular place. It does not mean that Atma is located in the Buddhi. It means Buddhi is the place, the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the place where the Atma can be known, can be perceived, can be understood. Why? Because Atma manifests as consciousness principle alone. Atma has two manifestations, Sat and Chit, or three in fact, Sat, Chit and Ananda, right? If you remember our discussions, these three aspects of Atma, of Brahman, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat is found where?
Everywhere, the existence.
Everywhere. When you see your friend or you see your wife or husband, the body itself is Sat. So Sat can be recognized everywhere. But Chit, the Chit of your friend, you cannot recognize. That Chit, the consciousness principle, you know as far as you are concerned. Because the consciousness principle manifests, that Atma manifests as consciousness principle only in your own mind. Therefore, Vyoman, yes, Vyoman means the space. Space means the Buddhi here. The space in the Buddhi can be taken as the Buddhi itself, the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The consciousness is recognized in the Buddhi Vyoman. And it is called Chidambaram also, okay? Ambaram is space. Chidambaram, Chit is consciousness. Chidambaram is consciousness in that Buddhi space. Okay. And Shankara adds over here, that Atma, which is located in the Buddhi, and we have to take that also located in the Buddhi. Atma is there everywhere. So we can take that Atma, which is located in, also located in the Buddhi. How does it get recognized? It gets recognized in the form of the vrittis of the mind, the thoughts in the mind. So he is making a point, a very subtle point, which he is reminding us of. He is saying that Brahman is always manifest. Always means in all the three avasthas. In what form? In the form of consciousness. So inside the heart, as consciousness. Inside the heart here meaning inside the mind, as consciousness. Outside the mind, as Sat, existence. And therefore he says, Eva, Pratishtita, Eva, as if installed. Why does he say as if installed? Because installation means what? There is a time when it has to come and go. Like first it was not there, then you install, right? And after some time it goes away. So because the word pratishtita is used in the Upanishad, Shankara wants to say that don't think of it as installed, think of it as if installed, seemingly installed. Because for the Atma, going and coming is not possible. And remember that in Karma Kanda, this going and coming installation, we do all the time. In any puja, what do? You first do the invitation. You will ask the Lord to come. Right? If you've seen any puja, and if you've been in the ashram, you would have seen definitely any number of pujas. So when that pujari is sitting there and doing all that preliminary work, what is he doing? He is asking the Lord to come and sit in that particular homa. That is the installation. And when it's over, he'll say, Gacha. The puja is over, or Lord, you go. Therefore, that is the installation, the pratishtha. And that is why when you when somebody builds a temple, there is a ceremony, pratishtha ceremony, right? The installation of the deity is done. So here Shankara is saying that don't take it like that. There is no installation at all, because this all pervading Atma is like space. There is no possibility of it coming and going. So installation is not possible at all. So it is pratishtita eva, as though installed. Okay, any questions?
Acharya ji, here the word divya is also referring to buddhi.
No, divya means sacred. Why sacred? Because in the temple, God is there, therefore it is sacred. Here it is Atma, also God. Therefore, wherever Atma is found, it is sacred. Atma is found in the buddhi. Therefore, divya is adjective to buddhi. It is found in the sacred space, which is the buddhi.
So Atma is essentially everywhere. Why should anything be not sacred?
That is a true fact. But here you're referring to what? Where is it known?
Ji, okay.
Atma is every day as Sat. Where is it there as Chit? Only in the mind. I mean, they said it's there everywhere as Chit. Also, you cannot say that Atma pervades the body only in Sat form. Atma pervades the body in Sat, Chit, and Ananda, all three forms. But each one has a reflecting medium which is unique. For Sat, the physical body is a reflecting medium. For Chit, subtle body is a reflecting medium. For Ananda, what is the reflecting medium?
Karanasha.
Oh. No.
Sukshma Shri.
No. Rituji, you were there in Taittiriya class, you should know.
Following my question.
Okay, you're getting there. You're getting there. But what?
Priya Moda Pramoda.
Priya Moda Pramoda Vritti. Only these three vrittis reflect Ananda. That is why you don't feel happiness in your fingertip. Okay, the next one is also a fairly longish mantra, so I will not take it here. I will do it another next class. If you have no more questions, we can close for today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your
Tat Sat,
patience.
Namah Shivaya.
Thank you, Acharya.